A Fox News alert: Hunter Biden indicted on 3 federal gun charges, and his defense team is blaming MAGA Republicans for the first son's legal woes.
This office has never brought a charge like this against anybody. Therefore, you have to ask what changed. It is the folks like Chairman Comer and the Republican MAGA crazies who have been pressuring this U.S. attorney to do something to vindicate their political position. And guess what? They succeeded.
All right, that's their story, and they're sticking to it. Brooke Singman is here with all the details. Brooke, good morning.
Hey, good morning, you guys. Yeah, Hunter Biden is the first child of a sitting U.S. president to ever be criminally indicted on federal charges. Now, the first count is for lying on an application for a gun, saying he wasn't using or addicted to any illicit drugs at the time of the gun purchase. The second is for making those same false statements to the arms dealer who actually sold him that weapon. And the third is for possessing the gun while illegally using a controlled substance. Now, if convicted, these charges could land the first son up to 25 years in prison. But House Republicans say if it weren't for them, the allegations would have been ignored. Listen.
Let's be very clear. If we weren't in the majority, nobody would be knowing anything about any of this stuff. And the Department of Justice was going to cover it up like they've been doing the last several years. So I think now there's going to have to be a real deep dive at Main Justice about why there has been obstruction to this degree that's protected the son of the President of the United States.
This is just the latest step in a long-running investigation into the president's son. Now, this indictment dates all the way back to October 2018, when Hunter first purchased this .38 caliber revolver in his home state of Delaware. 11 days later, his brother's widow tosses that weapon into a dumpster behind a local grocery store. And it wasn't until 2021 that the president's son really outed himself here. He released a memoir where he admits to using crack cocaine, quote, every 15 minutes around the time he purchased that gun. Now, you'll remember back in June, Hunter agreed to a plea deal allowing him to avoid prosecution on another gun charge, but that deal fell through just 1 month later. There's still no word on which judge will preside over this case or when Hunter will appear in court. Guys.
All right, Brooke, thank you. Let us bring in Katie Cherkasky, constitutional attorney and former federal prosecutor. Katie, look, Republicans are saying things like Matt Gaetz said, whereas like this is like charging Jeffrey Dahmer with littering. And then you have individuals like Abby Lowell, of course, Hunter Biden's attorney, and other Democrats who are up in arms over the charges. Play lawyer for us, if you would. Where do you fall on that spectrum?
Well, there's so many different elements of this case. Obviously, the big outstanding question is there any information about all of his financial dealings? I think that's what we've all been waiting for 5.5 years here. David Weiss was supposedly looking into it. But this particular charge deals only with the gun charges that were never indicted because they were part of this diversion agreement that fell apart at the plea deal. So it's unclear whether this is the final word in the ongoing investigation. It's unclear what will happen with these specific charges, whether there will be another plea deal cut, whether he'll go to trial on it. So there's so many pending factors. It's really tough to say what will be the final outcome, legally speaking, for Hunter, because there's so many different pieces out there that are not resolved at this point.
Yeah, and one of those pieces is the diversion agreement. Hunter Biden's lawyers are saying that still stands because it was signed by both parties. So is that true?
Well, I can imagine that they would try to pursue that line of attack on this. Certainly, that is something that at this point his side can continue to argue. I don't think it's a very strong case. Ultimately, that diversion agreement was attacked by the judge on a couple of different grounds. Any sort of plea agreement has to ultimately be approved by the judge. But Hunter Biden's team is saying because the prosecutor signed it, because they signed it, because Hunter's been compliant, that somehow that makes it a binding agreement. I don't think that the judge will agree with that ultimately, but of course, they have to shoot their shot on that.
Yeah, again, this is an actual federal judge. I don't mean to be offensive to other judges that are lower in the pecking order, but a federal judge says, I've never seen anything like this. This isn't a thing. That means it's not a thing. And also the fact that Hunter's attorneys wanted this global get-out-of-jail-free card, that is not a thing in the law. I understand what you said. There's still a lot of unknowns at this point. But on the gun charges themselves, obviously there's putting aside the tax, putting aside all the Joe Biden stuff. On the gun charges themselves, Hunter faces 25 years in prison. Do you, Katie, think he serves 1 day behind bars?
I would be very surprised. I mean, we have to remember Joe Biden still has pardon power here. I don't think he's going to exercise that at this point. I don't think that that would be politically in his interest. But it would be surprising to see him spend any time behind bars, although there could be a nominal agreement that's reached just to satisfy or attempt to satisfy folks who are looking at this and hoping that there's something more that comes down the pipeline. But realistically speaking, these charges are at the beginning of the process. They're still open to negotiation for other deals potentially, or he may end up going to trial where the decision will be in the hands of a jury and a judge.
Yeah, and when it comes to David Weiss, you have to wonder why this is happening now. Do you think that he was embarrassed by Judge Noriega and this is sort of a cleanup effort because she called out the plea deal? Or then you have Vivek Ramaswamy saying, don't believe what you're seeing. Hunter Biden is still ultimately going to be protected. So what do you think about that?
Well, there's a couple different things. There's some technical reasons that the gun charge was indicted at this point. It essentially had to be acted on because of speedy trial issues, and that charge had never been indicted since it was going to be diverted under that agreement. So David Weiss had to move forward on that. That doesn't tell us anything about whether he plans to move forward on anything else or if he's trying to use this as some sort of a consolation prize that something's being done. But in terms of the technicalities, that charge had to move along at this point before they lost any opportunity to deal with it whatsoever.
And then you have a lot of people saying that Hunter Biden ultimately is getting lucky here because the judge let the statute of limitations expire for a lot of the more serious tax charges. A lot to break down, a lot to unfold. Katie, thank you for staying with us through it all. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.